Earlier this year, there were rumors going around that a big name team from one of the manufacturers was going to be switching to Toyota. Of course, this is some pretty big stuff, but nothing concrete was put out there. Well, yesterday, Denny Hamlin puts out a tweet with a pen emoji and also a crown, leading a lot of people to think what many were guessing before, that Richard Petty Motorsports could switch to Toyota in 2022. I'm going to say something that many fans are probably going to see as sacrilegious, but I don't have a problem with this. In fact, I think it's actually the best possible move that RPM could make. And I'm going to explain why, because there's not just one or two reasons. There's actually plenty of good reasons why they should make this move. Now, again, it hasn't been made yet, so this is a lot of speculation. But I think it should be brought forward whether or not there is an announcement about this or not. First one is that this is another branch of Toyota's NASCAR racing tree. Toyota really has all their eggs in the JGR basket. Yeah, there's Gaunt Brothers and there's 2311, but those are more offshoots of JGR, especially 2311. And right now, Toyota has a bit of a problem. Their pipeline gets so many good drivers, but they have to basically shuffle them away because there's no room at the inn for those drivers. So, having Petty go over to basically be a third viable Toyota team is actually probably the best possible thing that could happen with Toyota, because now they have another place they can put one of their drivers. Now, part of this pipeline is a place for somebody like, say, Ty Gibbs to go to. Ty Gibbs is one of the greatest talents that's coming up right now. At such a young age, he has absolutely balled out when it comes to his races in the Xfinity Series. And he's gonna be in Cup in the next 3 to 4 years, no doubt whatsoever there. But with another Toyota team, maybe something does happen with Erik Jones, or you have that added on 2311 team. You now have more options of where to put Ty Gibbs when he goes to Cup. Because say you have the main JGR fleet. You got Denny Hamlin, who could very well still be racing in the next 5 to 6 years. You have Kyle Busch, who definitely will be racing. Christopher Bell is just at the start of his career. And Martin Truex Jr. shows no signs yet of slowing down. Just a speed bump last year. So now you have a place to put Ty Gibbs that will be competitive, will have JGR equipment with it. I don't see how this, when it comes to the pipeline, is in any way a loss for either RPM or for JGR in general. And on top of this, it also adds at least one more team that can bring in more information, thus making the Toyota program overall much stronger than it is now, which should be pretty dangerous to the rest of the field. Now, another good reason is that the driver of the 43 right now is Erik Jones, a former JGR driver who was part of the Toyota tree. Again, another great piece to not only add in, but bring back in. Erik Jones, in my opinion, kind of got the shaft. Yeah, he didn't race the greatest, but he still got wins, he still got top 5s, and he still got top 10s on a pretty regular basis. He won at least once a year. He was always up front, and something would always happen, whether it was crew, luck, or driver related. So having Jones get another chance in JGR equipment to really show off what he can do, I think would be a really good opportunity for him and for JGR, so they can really see his true potential. I think he's a much better driver than his results have shown, and I would really like to see him get this opportunity. Now, a really big thing about this here is that this will offer more stability to Richard Petty Motorsports. Richard Petty Motorsports in the last couple of years since Eric Almirola left with Smithfield has been in a bit of a struggle. Not a bit of a struggle, a lot of a struggle. And the big one is sponsorship. Sponsors just are not coming to partner with the king. That's just the truth. But with this, having stability behind the scenes definitely will mean that there's going to be a bit of a culture change. And I think part of that is having support from Toyota. Unlike Chevrolet and Ford, Toyota really supports their teams when they don't have sponsorship. You see this a lot with the 20 car. I think that you're going to see this a bit with the 43, and that's going to be just enough added benefit for this team to really get its feet underneath them. So I think that right there is something really huge that people wouldn't be looking at. Now, another thing is that this will be another truly competitive car in the field in theory. Yes, they could struggle. We see what 2311 has done this year, and it's been pretty subpar for the lofty expectations that they put out. But still, this team with JGR support can be a top 20 team pretty easily in the first year, I think. If Eric Jones plays his cards right, he could even make the playoffs with the King. And I think that's a really big thing right there. Having a much more competitive and strengthened field is good for the sport. Having more cars that on a weekly basis can go up there and win every week is good for the sport. So I think that this right here could be something that we haven't seen in a while. And it's something that I think will be really good for another reason. It's just having the 43 is good for NASCAR. And having the 43 be really good is even better. NASCAR in a lot of ways has gotten away from its roots. Some ways self-inflicted, other ways just they can't help. One of those being the fact that basically since the early 80s, the 43 car has been an afterthought in the field. Yeah, it's been there, but it's sort of just there. A figurehead of what used to be, a statue, a memory of what used to be really good. Yeah, the 43 has its flashes every now and then, but you're not going to see the 43 car run up to the front at Kansas or Michigan and get the win. They might have a flare-up, like I said, and have a few top 10s, but they're not going to be dominating a race. Having the 43 be good again will be such a good boost for hardcore fans. I mean, look at the 21 car in the last 5 to 6 years. That car was a part-time deal for the longest time, but the Wood brothers built it up over time, and now it's a car that really is basically a Penske car, but the 21 is competitive again. Having the 43 do this would be absolutely amazing for history buffs like myself and just all fans in general. Now, to close out this video, I want to address something that I know is going to come up from a lot of old school fans. And it's the fact that the King is going with Toyota. That this isn't my NASCAR. Well, I'll tell you something right now. Richard Petty has changed manufacturers numerous times throughout his career with his team, and this is no exception. Let me just read off the different manufacturers that were prominent in Petty's career. Oldsmobile, Plymouth, Ford, Dodge, Chevrolet, Buick, and Pontiac. All just during the King's career. Not to mention that he's changed to some of those and then back to others throughout the years. He had a Pontiac in the 90s, which then switched over to Dodge, then they switched over to Ford, and now they're switching over to Chevy, and then switching over to Toyota. So this isn't anything new for the King. I think this is a reasonable sacrifice for old school fans to have the 43 be good again. The 43 was not going to be good with Chevrolet. It wasn't good with Ford. So why not test the waters with Toyota? What do they have to lose? They're already on the brink, or at least were before Bubba brought in sponsorship last year. So why not? Plus, Richard Petty has never been somebody who's just sat by and done the status quo. I mean, you look in his early years even, he was part of the drivers union that almost took off. And he proved last year that on and off the track, he will step out of the line that most people would walk. Whether you agree with him or not on whatever he does, he's not someone who's just gonna toe the line. So Richard Petty switching to Toyota is much more in character than a lot of people are gonna tell you. But now, I want to pass this one on to you. What do you think about the fact that the King might switch over to Toyota? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel for more great content like this, and hey, you know what? If you want, you can even join if you like it that much. And until next time, have a good one.